Originally in Spanish, 2019. I find it a bit boring to go into Neptune, because with few differences it is the same as with Uranus. Same floating animals and same basic atmospheric components, but with Neptune having more methane. Neptune is a super dense gaseous planet. Of all the solar system, it is the second densest after Jupiter itself. It has a lot of mass. Although it is named after the Roman god of water, it is not a water planet or ocean planet like Tiamat was. It is only because of its deep blue color. Unlike Uranus, Neptune has a very active atmosphere, and it shares with Jupiter a major storm in progress right now.
Wow, is that Uranus or Neptune?
The image is of Neptune. It has rings, but very faint ones that are characterized by being unstable. This means that they are fading and are so poor that they are of no consideration. Animals, although there must be a few differences, are basically the same as in other gas planets. 14 moons. Pretty boring with nothing there, with only one exception, Triton. With a rather strange counter-rotating orbit, Triton is teeming with life, especially intraterrestrial life that uses the moon's high geological activity as a primary source of energy, light, and heat. It is the only moon in this solar system that orbits in the opposite direction of its planet.
Is there life there?
Only animals. Why does it orbit in the opposite direction? Because it was put there. According to my data, it was towed there and given that orbit by Andromedans post-Tiamat wars to make a proper counterweight to stabilize Neptune, since it has a strange orbit. It also always faces the same way towards Neptune all the time, as does the terrestrial moon. As I said, it was put there artificially, but the moon itself is not artificial. Without going into known facts, which are mostly true as they are verifiable from a basic human level, that's all I have to say about Neptune. Thank you, Swaruu. And why did they have to stabilize Neptune? What was wrong with it? Triton even has its own magnetic field or magnetosphere. It is a moon full of extraterrestrial wildlife, mostly because of the surface is one of the coldest in the solar system. Neptune, having lost the homeostasis it had with the other planets due to the destruction of Tiamat, was in orbit as if it was wobbling. Its orbit is still very much tilted to this day. It is a counterweight. Wobbling? How can that be, floating in space? You're not going to fall anywhere anyway, are you? It produces centrifugal and centripetal forces that, if increased beyond certain parameters, can cause the destruction of the planet.
In the case of Tiamat, it was because the water. But Neptune, why?
Because it is very dense. This is what happened to Tiamat. The water destabilized it by its extreme motion due to the impact of several nuclear detonations. Okay, in this context, there is no more to say. Let's move further back towards the center of the solar system, again to the asteroid band. There lies a so-called asteroid, the largest of them all, called Ceres. It sparks controversy about things glowing in craters. Ceres was the moon of Tiamat. It survives to this day as a one-piece object. It is full of large bases and Federation way stations and service stations. They are positive. That is what you see glowing. That is a United Federation of Planets space base.
Where is this band of asteroids? You said let's go back to the center of the solar system.
It's between Mars and Jupiter, where Tiamat was.
This satellite is toroidal in shape, with its two openings to the north and the south?
They all are. It just happens that in small stars, the openings tend to be less evident the smaller they are. It is explained as sediments of lower layers being reflective, but I say to that degree. Manipulated images.
As if it were an icy surface reflecting sunlight.
Yes, but that looks just like a human city seen from a satellite. But this image is fake, you say? Yes, it is normalized.
In those bases are all the races that make up the Federation?
And why do they have their bases there? Yes, that's right. If it's Federation, it's a forward operating base, FOB, of any Federation race. Supply and repair of ships, merchandise exchange operations, they are entire cities. You were there? I have flown over, but I have never had the need to be there. In fact, a question. Can you go anywhere like you would travel from France to Poland by car without any permit? Or do you have to ask for some permits? If you feel like going to Uranus or anywhere else, can you? You don't need any permission. You just need to notify your flight plan. Sometimes not even that. The city looks like this in Ceres, under exterior dome.
Wow, how beautiful.
But is it similar only, or does it look like that? Very similar. That circular architectural shape is widely used in Federation bases and cities. But Swaruu, the races coexist there? By sectors, but they do live there. Parentheses, not so much on the planets or on the ships. They have to learn to live there.
Would we be strangers if we went there?
You would not be strangers. As you are today, you look like Alfratans. Do you normally have several houses in different locations? For example, one house in Erra, another one in Ceres, another one wherever? Not one house, a sector of interconnected buildings. Yes, but can you live in several places at the same time, have different homes, have your home on several planets at the same time? If it is free, yes, of course. Now, notice the name of the website in the image. It does say a lot, doesn't it? Yes, I know this project. Who is really behind this project? It has to do with the colonization of Venus, as we have already said. But it is the most logical and efficient configuration for a city, the most effective for a city, with nature between the rings, and easy to put under a dome. What dome? In Ceres, as in many places, those concentric cities are under a dome.
Interesting. Is the dome crystal or energetic?
Both, Robert. Double security. Security? From the dome breaking.
Under the Earth's sea, there are also bases like that? With a dome?
On Earth, only to a very limited extent. The use of intraterrestrial is more common. We are now going to the Kuiper belt. It is an outer zone of the solar system, beyond Neptune's orbit, that is composed of all kinds of rocks, dirty ice balls, aka comets in some cases, depending on their mobility. And there are millions of them. That's where comets officially come from. Also for the Federation, although it's a bit more complex in nature and explanation. Planet Haumea, moons Hi'iaka and Namaka. Greatest distance to the Sun, aphelion, 51.4 AU. Smallest distance to the Sun, perihelion, 34.9 AU. One astronomical unit is the equivalent distance from the Earth to the Sun. It is only used to measure distances within the solar system. This minor planet is known to Earth science and is classified as a dwarf planet. From our point of view of the star charts, it is considered a planet, since it once again contains United Federation of Planet bases with extensive mining operations, mostly gold. Planet Ceres, moon Dysnomia, aphelion 97.6 AU, perihelion 37.9 AU. Only slightly smaller than Pluto. Lots of tectonic activity and full of strange life. Emergent life there, zone protected by the Federation. No bases, as they are considered invasive to the development of life already in advanced stage. Very strict protocols needed to land there. Planet Oahu, no moon. Planet not recognized by human science. Aphelion 190.4 AU. Perihelion 152.7 AU. Large planet with a high density. Size approximately 4 times the size of Earth. Location at the outer edge of the Kuiper belt. Why do you give us these data of aphelion and perihelion? Will the scientists understand it? Yes, they will understand. Elliptical orbit, external. Advanced civilization there, interstellar. Mantis insectoid base. Political system, pyramidal stepped council. Base organism, council or high council of Oahu. They claim to be neutral, but are known to have treaties with negatives. High activity there of regressive Maitre Greys and reptilians of various races, including regressive draconians. Questions before we continue?
Thank you. Are these the same insectoids that are on Mars?
They are related, but not the same. Biggest difference, the ones on Mars have a hive mind. These ones mostly do not.
They are a planetary civilization, that is to say that they are a dominant species on the planet.
Yes, it has a lot of life. As expected at this distance, it is intraterrestrial with the geothermal springs.
Wow. And what is their relationship with Earth? Do they come to extract minerals or something like that?
They are part of the mechanism of extraction of human beings and distribution for slaves and for food. Why can't the slaves be built in the technological way? There is no need to replicate slaves. Technology is enough. Then why would they want them as slaves? For tradition, I guess. All advanced races ask themselves that question, Gosha. Besides the fact that they use the energies of suffering, for they are or are considered to be archons under various criteria. And what density are these mantis in? Everything outside is in 5D. How can these mantis function in 5D and still do this? Or are they in high 4D or something? I know this whole density thing is a mess and not so divided. It is believed that these insectoids do not do it directly with humans, but in exchange for other things such as trade and technology, they let their facilities be used as forward bases for expeditionaries, pirates of sauroid regressive origin that are the ones who do desire humans for various reasons or purposes. 5D, contrary to what they tell you, is not love and peace, heaven and honey. Or we could argue that in these cases, those regions are, by consciousness, 4D places. To me, that is 4D, Gosha. It is true.
And this planet, Ohalu, is under Federation blockade?
It is under observation. They swear nothing is happening there and that they are neutral. They lie. Outside, there are Federation fighter ships intercepting regressive ships. Although not on the same scale as on Earth, yes, it would be regarded a blocked place. It is difficult to put or catch them in evidence. They are deceitful and treacherous. They are not the same mantis that contact Simon Parkes. Those are the 13 planets of this solar system. The solar system has or contains many dwarf planets, not just those. Some are recognized, some are not. The thing about Ohalu is that it is under the cover or hidden behind the Kuiper belt, far away. However, mathematically, some scientists detect that by mass interaction in the solar system, something else is missing. They say or argue that a huge planet is missing, Nibiru or Hercubolus, or in this case, planet or non-planet, a brown dwarf, because many, not all, suns have dual systems. Taygeta has its Sagittleia, or Alpha Centauri A has Alpha Centauri B, and Proxima Centauri, triple system. The human data that says a sun has to be dual, per se, although not exactly corresponding to those of the outside races like the Federation, are more or less correct. But this is getting into toroidal dynamics. There is no such brown dwarf. The Sun is a simple system with extensive or large solar system, compared to Taygeta with only 4 planets, little extra junk. The missing mass in the solar system is the result of the conjunction by equilibrium point of all objects in the Kuiper belt and Ohalu combined, resulting in a large mass that is mistaken for or as being a single large missing planet. Having said that, that planet is Ohalu. But it doesn't yield the mass or doesn't have the mass necessary for the gravitational effect in human calculations. It is added to the other mass of the Kuiper belt debris, as well as the remaining tens of planetoids or dwarf planets in the solar system.
And what does that name Ohalu mean? And who named it? It sounds Taygetan.
No, the name sounds Taygetan, and I have given it or spelled it that way because of Taygetan influence, because I have no other way of spelling it or expressing it. I understand it to mean the point of creation, from the perspective of that regressive mantis species. And do these insects wear any kind of clothing? Yes, as observed in many cases and by morphology, ornate long robes are observed, little else.
And are they matriarchal or patriarchal, even though they are a pyramidal society?
matriarchal, based on a central queen of the hive, like good insects.
And the queen is usually large in size? She is the one that lays the eggs. How do they reproduce?
Yes, but in part. She has sub-queens that would be like rulers of alternate locations. Stepped. They all lay eggs, and they all obey the central queen. They have males, drones. 3 genders, male drones, females, and sexless workers, just like many insects, because that's what they are. They only watch for the hive, but they don't reproduce.
It is curious to study this race. And they all live underground?
Yes, all underground. I don't doubt that they have external structures, such as entrances or docking systems for large ships. Do they have star seeds on Earth? I'm sure they don't. I don't have that information.
And are the tunnels made with dirt or with artificial panels? I don't know if I explain it right. If they are interstellar, they will be very technological.
Yes, they are technological. They cooperate with insectoid mantis, and sauroid races, plus regressive greys.